Hey guys, Sterling here, and when it comes to the Bleach universe, there's obviously no shortage of extremely OP characters, and there seems to be a powerhouse lurking around every corner, and it's one of the reasons why I love the story so much. Now, with this stockpile of purgatory-esque monsters, hacks, death gods, and superhumans, it's easy for some characters to not necessarily slip through the cracks, but more or less succumb to a role that, well, doesn't see them thoroughly explored. People perceive these characters as important, yes, but never perceive them as powerful. And one of the greatest examples of this is none other than Quincy, Masaki Kurosaki, mother of one of the strongest beings in existence, Ichigo Kurosaki. Guys, today I want to explore all things Masaki. I want to explore what techniques she could use, who she would compare to in the story. Like, could she fight Espada? Could she fight Sternritter in the Thousand Year Blood War? Could she even maybe go toe-to-toe with a captain? Guys, today I want to explore all things Masaki, all things Quincy, and why she's far stronger than you ever imagined. Now, the fun thing about this Masaki discussion is it actually helps us transition into our upcoming What If story. And that's what if Isshin were to have used the final Getsuga Tensho. So you're gonna want to be on the lookout for that. It's an incredibly fun video. Obviously, we talk about Isshin using the final Getsuga Tensho, his Bankai, when he would have used the final Getsuga Tensho, how it would have worked, what it would have looked like. It's a fun What If story. So like I said, you're definitely gonna want to be on the lookout for that. But to gear up for that story, like I said, we're talking about Masaki. Now, first, I want to talk a little bit about Masaki's lineage because I find it extremely fascinating. Like I mentioned earlier, she is an Echt Quincy, meaning she is a pure-blood Quincy through and through. She resides from the Kurosaki family of Quincy's. Now, the Kurosaki family, we know little to nothing about. We know that Ichigo's grandparents were obviously pure-blood Quincy's, just like Masaki, and they gave birth to a single child, Masaki. Now, the Kurosakis would mysteriously disappear from the story by means that we are not aware of. Now, I speculate that they probably perished by the way of Soul Reapers. I believe that Soul Reapers probably slaughtered Masaki's family because we all know that 200 years ago, the Quincy extermination plan was carried out by the Soul Reapers. So I imagine after that, Mayuri probably had squads out still looking for any remaining Quincy. And eventually, even if the Kurosakis were extremely powerful, they were ultimately taken down by Soul Reapers. Now, at the time, we would be led to believe that she would be the lone remaining Quincy along with the Ishida family. Now, obviously, later on, we would come to find out that there are Sternritter everywhere in the shadows of the Soul Society. That's a video for a different day. But Masaki is orphaned because the Kurosaki family perished in some way, somehow, and now she is actually sent to live with the Ishidas. And this is where we get introduced to Masaki's character and everything she's capable of. But first, guys, before we move into that, I want to know down in the comments below, how do you think the Kurosaki family ceased to exist? Do you agree with me? Do you think Soul Reapers are responsible? Do you think maybe Hollows are responsible? Or maybe even Quincy themselves in the Sternritter? Tell me in the comments below. I want to know. The reason I even bring up Ichigo's grandparents in this video is because I'm a storyteller and I would love to see a little side story about the Quincy, the ones that had to survive in the world of the living, the Soul Society almost acting as the bad guy. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent there. I just wanted to run that by you guys and see what you thought. But Teen Masaki is a very capable Quincy. I'd even go as far as calling her a prodigy. It's sad that most people in the fandom don't see her like that, but her mastery over reishi manipulation is absolutely insane. Not to mention her mastery over almost every high-level Quincy technique, not to mention not long after moving in with the Ishidas, we'd really get to see her talents on full display in her fight against White. Right off the bat, when she shows up to aid Isshin, she launches a massive reishi arrow at White, followed by an incredible licked Reagan. Guys, a licked Reagan is a high level technique. In this fight against White, I was thoroughly impressed by not just Masaki's power, but her battlefield tactics and awareness as well. White is moving insanely fast, and he's coming straight for Masaki, and she's able to come up with a plan to take him out in a matter of seconds. White was going toe to toe with Isshin just moments before. Next, guys, in my favorite Masaki scene of all time, after luring the hollow to her, she purposely lets White bite her, and she shrinks down her Quincy bow to a mini condensed version, showing incredible reishi manipulation in doing so. And what she does is she almost uses it as like a little Quincy minigun, and she absolutely blows White apart. Guys, I can't stress to you how high level that is. The reishi manipulation is off the charts, and Teen Masaki is an absolute monster. Like I said, the blast would completely destroy White, and if it wasn't for him bonding to her, she would have completely destroyed him. That's some high level power, and really a pretty high tier accomplishment, because like I mentioned earlier, White was able to go toe to toe with a Shikai Isshin. Isshin is a captain level fighter. He's extremely strong, and the fact that Masaki could take care of White almost faster than he could, if you think about it, is extremely impressive. Now, I'm not saying that Masaki is on the level of Isshin, like using his whatever his Bankai is, but I'm saying that she was equal to him and his Shikai. Guys, White is incredibly strong. He was made by Aizen himself, guys. White is a lab-made hollow, incredibly powerful, and obviously we know he'd go on to merge with Ichigo. Now, this version of White isn't that strong, but he's still extremely formidable, and Masaki's able to come up with a plan, take him out in seconds, and it's absolutely beautiful. Teen Masaki is a powerhouse, guys. Instead of me completely fanning out about Masaki, here's a better way to put it. Masaki is far stronger than the Uryu Ishida that we're introduced to in the beginning of the story. And Uryu's one of my favorite characters. I think he's an absolute badass. He's everything a Quincy should be, and the Masaki that we're introduced to is stronger than the Uryu we're introduced to. I would say Masaki is more comparable, if not stronger, than an Uryu in the Waco Mundo arc. And hear me out, guys. Uryu's able to fight Espada in Waco Mundo right alongside Renji. I'd say Uryu and Renji are pretty comparable, at least in terms of power. Uryu may even have him beat by just a little, because he was able to put up a pretty good fight against First Form Yami, obviously non-released, but still, Uryu is an extremely formidable, and Masaki, I would say, is right up there next to him, or stronger. If you were to put Masaki in that situation, in those battles in Waco Mundo, she would do just as well, if not better, than Uryu. Now, that's something I would love to see, guys. Talk about what-if stories and animating what-ifs. I would love to animate some sort of what-if with Masaki, where she's fighting the Arrancar that we saw early in the Waco Mundo arc. That would be a ton of fun. Anyways, guys, tell me in the comments, would you like to see something like that? Because I am 100% here for it. But I would say what I just said puts Masaki easily on high lieutenant level. And guys, that is no joke. In the Bleach universe, it takes forever to get to lieutenant. It's an honorable position, and you have to be quite powerful to hold a position like that down. And Masaki's just as strong, if not stronger, than a lieutenant level Shinigami. Multiple times in Everything But the Rain, Ryukin Ishida can almost be seen putting Masaki over, per se. When he's talking to Kataguri, he's like, hey, don't let that kind of ditzy act fool you. She's much smarter and much clever than you think. And as far as what's going on in this house, she caught on long ago. So what he's saying is Masaki's much smarter than she lets on, and she's much more of a deeper thinker than she lets on as well. And the second time, Ryukin kind of puts her over is when they're in the hallway and they're having that conversation and he's trying to convince her like, hey, do not go aid that Soul Reaper. Whatever he's doing, that fight against the Hollow, do not go and do it. Now, he was not warning her to not go fight because he didn't think she was capable. He knows she's strong. That wasn't the reason whatsoever. The reason why he stopped her is because battles like that are meant for Gamish Quincy. Half-Blood Quincy. Ryukin was only saying like, hey, we let them go and handle hollows, so then us pureblood Quincy's can remain. So as far as her going out and fighting White, Ryukin sensed just how strong Ishin was and just how strong White was, and he never once said like, hey, they'll wipe you out, don't go there, they're far above your level. He doesn't say anything like that. So Ryukin knows just how strong Masaki is, and it's pretty incredible. Mere seconds after that conversation between Ryukin and Masaki ends and Masaki walks out the door, Ryukin's like, Kataguri, we're going right now. And Masaki gets to the battlefield first and actually disposes of White before Kataguri and Ryukin can even get to where that fight's happening. Now, I'm not saying that she's just some absolute speed demon, but I'm sure she's able to utilize here in Kyaku the Quincy technique for high-speed movement. So with the mastery of not just Hirden Kyaku, like I just mentioned, but also Blute, a licked Reagan, and the impressive Reishi domination that she showed by changing the size of her bow in just fractions of a second. Masaki is easily high lieutenant level and an absolute badass herself. Now I want to dive into talking about just how strong adult Masaki is. Now, obviously, we're all aware that Masaki would go on to be poisoned by White, and then Ishin would have to sacrifice his Soul Reapers to save Masaki. Now, what a lot of people don't realize, and after reading the story many, many times, I've come to the conclusion that Masaki spent her teen years before even having Ichigo and before even meeting up with Ishin, kind of harnessing her Quincy skills while going to college. Now, a lot of you guys are probably like, Sterling, that's so headcanon, like that's never said in the story. But hear me out. It all goes back to the conversation with Ryukin when she was a teenager, and she's like, hey, if I don't go help this Soul Reaper that's in trouble right now, or if I don't go help the situation that's going on right now, future me would never feel right about it. Now, as Masaki, flash forward, Masaki continues to live her life kind of exploring the world while Ishin is opening his practice and doing that, because Ishin does say like there was a gap in time. Now, while Masaki was going to school, she's still this incredibly strong being and incredibly spiritually aware. So she was in class and like felt a hollow terrorizing somewhere in town, because keep in mind, she was able to sense Ishin and White miles away. So her spiritual intuition is only going to get better. So if she sensed any hollows during that time, she probably used her Hirin Kyaku, the high-speed movement technique, flashed over there, and used her Quincy powers to completely eliminate the hollow, hence saving the citizen. She probably did that multiple times to the point where she was extremely confident in her abilities, and there wasn't going to be any type of normal hollow that could take her down. She did battle with a abnormally strong hollow in White as a teenager. So after harnessing her skills, she's much stronger as an adult. Masaki would have wiped the floor with Grand Fisher so hard it wouldn't even have been funny. She's gearing up to do it. Ishin, when he's talking to Ichigo and everything but the rain, he stresses to Ichigo like, Grand Fisher, your mother, she could have taken him out no problem. Ishin was 100% aware of Masaki's strength, and if it wasn't for the Ashwelin, she wouldn't even have perished. She would have used Blute. Ishin even says it. He says she was highly proficient in Blute, and that Quincy wouldn't even, or that Hollow wouldn't even have laid a single finger on her, not a single scratch. Meaning, my theory of her getting stronger is quite validated. Ishin's putting her over, Teen Ryukin put her over when she was just a teenager. These powerful characters, Ryukin and Ishin, have 100% respect for Masaki's powers. When you have two people like those behind you, backing your strength, you know you're powerful. There's a lot of people in the fandom, me included, that see Ryukin, adult Ryukin, as a formidable fighter. He's a Prodigy Quincy, he's right up there with some of the higher level characters. And you could make an argument that adult Masaki would be right up there with him. There's no reason why she wouldn't be if she kept up with her training like I speculate. So an adult Masaki, if a teen Masaki was already high lieutenant, I'm not saying that adult Masaki's captain level, because the power of a captain is almost unfathomable. They're death gods. They've been training for hundreds, if not thousands of years. I'm not going to compare Masaki to a captain. But what I'm saying is, after refining her skills, if she were to have survived, let's just say hypothetically, Soul Society or Mayuri's like, hey, there's this pretty strong Quincy woman, and we need to go take her out. Say he sends a lieutenant and a group of Soul Reapers. I'm not 100% positive that lieutenant or those lower level foot soldier Soul Reapers would be able to take her out. I think they would be like, like we either got to call the captain or multiple other lieutenants. So what I'm getting at is, if multiple lieutenant level Shinigami teamed up on Masaki, then yes, they'd probably be able to take her down. But it would either take that or calling in a captain to truly take down someone as strong as adult Masaki. Overall, with Ishin's comments, Ryukin's comments, and all the mastery that Masaki has shown over Quincy techniques, she's a formidable opponent for anyone. She could fight a Spada. I'm not saying she could beat them, but she could fight them. She could defend herself. Any lower level Hollow, she would completely be able to decimate. Like I mentioned earlier, she's high lieutenant level, and people are just going to have to accept the fact that Masaki is a powerhouse. Guys, this video was a ton of fun to do. Teen Masaki is an absolute powerhouse, and adult Masaki is even stronger. Like I said earlier in the video, you could insert Teen Masaki into the Waco Mundo arc, and she would be able to hold her own no problem. So an adult Masaki is going to be much stronger. Guys, did you like this scale of Masaki per se? Do you agree with me? Do you think she's this strong? She was able to deal with a Hollow like White, so I believe she'd be able to at least fight with a Spada, maybe not beat them, but at least fight with them, and maybe even be able to fight or last against a low-level captain. She's not captain level, but high lieutenant, and I had a blast talking about her. I love the Quincy in general, just the fact that, like, if they were in the real world, we would be like, what, are they exorcists? Are they demon hunters? Like, they'd be dominating Reishi in the real life, and we would be like, they're sorcerers. Like, if anything, Quincy's are the sorcerers of the Bleach world. I find it so fun. I almost love the Sternritter and the Quincy more than the captains, and that's saying a lot. But that's a video for another day. Quincy versus Soul Reaper, who truly is the most formidable being out of the two. But as far as this discussion goes, as far as this Masaki scale, do you agree with me? Do you think she's as powerful as I say? Or am I completely out of the ballpark with this one? I want to hear your Masaki dissection in the comments below. It's one of my favorite things to do, is go down in the comment section and talk Bleach with you guys. It's one of the whole reasons why I even made this channel, because I wanted to talk Bleach with more people in our community. So today, tomorrow, the next day, I want to talk Masaki, I want to talk her power, and I want to hear if you guys agree with me. But guys, until the next video, this is Sterling signing out.